Welcome to Sinomania for the week beginning April 15, 2007. China markets keep climbing. We have an update on IPOs and a preview of our China trip report topics. Is Beijing really ready for the Olympics? Like the steep slopes of the Great Wall at Sinomania, Chinese markets continue an upwards trend with gains across all boards. The Shanghai Composite closed April 13 at 3,518.27, up 500 points from our last report. The Shenzhen Composite slipped to March 30 but is back way up, over 125 points since our last show, to close at 948.43. The story is the same for G-shares and generally across all share classes. Leading indexes are also up, including the Halter USX China Index, traded on the American Stock Exchange with symbol HXC, that includes most of the heavy-hitting Chinese companies listed in the United States. Although the Halter USX reflects the volatility of American markets right now, it continues to gain substantially overall. China IPO offerings show no sign of slowing. New York Stock Exchange spokesman Christian Brockman said several leading companies, Chinese companies, are planning to do IPOs in April or May. The biggest so far this year will be China CITIC Bank, on schedule for a joint Shanghai and Hong Kong IPO listing next week around April 27. The 8-share range is expected to be $5.06 to 5.86 Hong Kong dollars, and though China CITIC lowered its IPO total slightly, it still hopes to raise about $5.4 billion US dollars. An update on some IPOs mentioned in previous episodes. Country Garden, a Guangdong-based property developer, ended its offering April 11 and was successful at over 240 times oversubscribed at the retail level. The IPO could generate almost 13 billion Hong Kong dollars, the largest ever for a mainland-based property developer. China Moly, China's biggest molybdenum miner, finished its international roadshow and may raise almost $1 billion US dollars with commitments from key investors such as Li Ka-shing, who will buy up to 20% of the shares offered. China Moly's trading will debut next week around April 26. With less than 500 days to go before the 2008 Summer Olympics start, the Beijing Olympic Committee, or BOCOG, is aglow with reports and headline news stories of how far ahead of schedule preparation for the Olympics are in Beijing. According to BOCOG, most of the venues are near completion, 85% of Beijing taxi drivers know English, and the city is ready for the arrival of up to 500,000 sports fans and rowdy travelers. But what I saw on the ground in Beijing tells a very different story. While I was in Beijing, President Hu Jintao launched a citywide tree planting campaign, part of Beijing's greening of the city. By shoveling dirt on a spindly twig in a dusty stretch of land above the Olympic Green that is ambitiously referred to as the Olympic Forest Park. But woods don't grow in 16 months, nor do new airport terminals, subways, freeways, and entire commercial districts, at least not trouble-free. Right now, foreign language signs, language skills, and international standard customer service are virtually non-existent in Beijing. Away from the stunning architecture of the Olympic Green, much of Beijing is unprepared and largely indifferent to the arrival of so many first-time visitors to China. The national government, which is not directly involved in the preparations, after all, the Olympics are awarded to a city, not a nation, is hoping the 2008 Summer Games will show the world that China is world-class. But from what I experienced in Beijing, the only 5 stars are on the Chinese flag. I'll have more on that in my trip reports. I'll see you next week.